Ya hem de sütünü mesela şeye de buluyor ya.
Merhaba.
Same shit. I don't even know why.
Is that part to the right connected to it too? Or not really?
No, that's like an apartment building.
Okay.
Hope they've never fallen.
My brother definitely. He's literally told me, like, look, like, I could be ripped by a boulder, and he's like,
Coño, coñazo. Oh my God.
The black car.
Yeah.
And it even had the 890 to make it go fast. I like the that's for the movie.
And then you put over the car.
And it's a replica. Yeah, I like it because I look at the detail. I saw and this and that.
So we are going to walk back.
I didn't never the same way. Now we know me. No, I got the same most. That's the way over.